Merlin, a magician, prophet, and advisor, whom was active in all phases of the administration of King Arthur's kingdom. He was apparently given the name Emrys or Ambrosius at his birth in Caerphilly, also called Carmarthen. He only later became known as Merlin, a Latinized version of the Welsh word Myrddin. Merlin was the illegitimate son of the Princess of Dyfed, who was a nun. Merlin's father, it is said, was an angel who had visited the royal and left her with this child. Merlin's enemies claimed his father was really an incubus, an evil spirit that does such upon sleeping women, and they were right. The evil child was supposed to later become the Antichrist. Merlin, fortunately, was baptized early on in his life, an event which is said to have negated the evil in his nature, but left his powers intact. The original story was presumably invented to save his mother from scandal. Vortigern, the High King of the time, grandfather to Arthur, was in flight from the Saxon breakout and went to Snowdonia in hopes of constructing a mountain fortress where he might be safe. However, the building was profusely collapsing, proving useless to the cause. Wizards told him that a human sacrifice of a fatherless child would do the trick. One small difficulty was that such children were rather hard to find. Fortunately, Merlin happened to be available. Before the sacrifice could take place, Merlin used his great visionary powers and linked the structural problem to an underground pool in which lived a red and a white dragon. He prophesied that the red dragon represented the Britons and the white dragon the Saxons. The dragons fought and the red dragon drove the white back. The meaning was clear. Merlin interpreted that Vortigern would be slain and followed on the throne by Ambrosius Arlanius, then Uther, then a greater leader, Arthur. After British nobles were massacred at a peace conference, a result of Saxon trickery, Ambrosius consulted Merlin about erecting a suitable memorial to them. Merlin, along with Uther, led an expedition to Ireland to obtain the stones of the Choria Gigantum, which is also known as the Giant's Ring. Merlin, by the use of his extraordinary powers, brought the stones and re-erected them around the mass grave of the British nobles. We now call this place Stonehenge. Uther, who during his pursuit of Gerlois and his wife Igraine was aided by Merlin. As a result of deception made possible by Merlin's powers, Uther was transformed into the image of Gerlois. He entered their castle, managed to fool Igraine into thinking that he was her husband, and in the course of things conceived a child, Arthur. Merlin became the young boy's tutor, while he grew up with his foster father Sir Ector. In the defining moment of Arthur's career, Merlin arranged for the sword and the stone contest by which the lad became king, along with the meeting of the mystical lady of the lake, and persuaded her to present the king with the magical sword, the Excalibur. Merlin had a great presence and power in Arthur's life as his protector and advisor. His powers were great, but not enough to keep either of them alive. How Merlin died has been debated, but the Lady of the Lake is typically at fault. Merlin, being human, had fallen in love with her, and upon request began teaching her all he knew. Soon enough she was more powerful and knowledgeable than even he, and disgusted by his affection, sealed him away for all eternity. Thus is the tale of Merlin.